3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome to Guitar for Dummies. This is Dan Wynn, your fellow dummy. And today we're going to rock out a little bit. We're going to talk about power chords. Power chords work a lot like regular chords in terms of, for example, in the key of G, you're going to have 7 of them. You're going to have G. They would stand for the G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp, diminished, and back to G. The cool thing about power chords that makes them super easy is that you play them the same way whether the chord you're playing over and its place in the key is a major or a minor. So yeah, so that really simplifies things a lot. There are basically 4 shapes on the power chords, but they're not going to be neatly like caged or anything like that. Basically, there's 3 ways to play the 4 shapes. I say the 4 shapes. It's actually 3 shapes, just that you root them off of different strings. So let me just quickly demonstrate what I was just playing there a minute ago. You might have recognized the tune-ish. But I started with the G. With the G power chord. So I'm fingering the low E string on the 3rd fret, which gives me that root note, the G. And then up here on the A string and the D string, I'm fretting the A string with my ring finger and the D string with my pinky. This actually gives you, now you may recall from my previous lesson on chords, that a chord is generally the notes 1, 3, and 5 within the scale of that key, where the 1 is your root note. So a G major is basically G, B, and D. However, power chord, you're playing a root and you're playing a 5th, but then you're playing the root again at an octave position. So it's just simply root, 5th, root. Now in this position off the E string as well as the A string, which I'll demonstrate in a moment here, if you think of the 3 frets that your fingers are spanning here, and the fret that you have your index finger on as 1, you can think of this as a 1-3-3 shape. So you've got, here's your 1, you're skipping 2, and then you have 3 and 3. This is the shape you'd use anywhere rooting off the E string. It's also the shape you would use rooting off the A string. So here's your C major, your G, then your C. Now come up here to make the E minor, see, and then the D. Exact same shape. Now let me demonstrate the fact that if I were to play that chord progression in simple open chords, you have your G major, your D major, E minor, C major. But with power chords, you're simply playing them. Very simple shapes, right? Okay, so when you're playing your power chords rooted off the E string, you have this 1-3-3 configuration. Likewise, you have that 1-3-3 configuration coming off the A string. Now you could also play power chords rooted off the D string. Here's a G major played off the D string, power chord. So now I'm rooting off the D note on the 5th fret of the G note on the 5th fret of the D string. And now my configuration, you notice that I'm covering 1, 3, and then 4, because we're going to the B string. And remember that funny relationship between the G and the B string makes you move up 1 fret when you get there. So you have the G, the D, which is your 5th, and back to G. So I can play that same progression like this. is technically correct. It doesn't quite, to me, it sounds a little too trebly. So, and I don't want to be a troublemaker here. But I don't. All right. So, quick review again. We got your rooted off the E. We call it E derived power chord. And then we rooted off the A string. We call that an A derived power chord. And then we root off the D. We call it a D derived power chord. And you also have one more shape here. You can also root off the G string. Now, if you fret the 5th fret in this case, and we're going to do a C major. If you fret the 5th fret of the G string, and then go 1, 4, 4. So now you go into the 8th fret of the B string and the 8th fret of the E string. So you could do something like this. So that would be your C major. You put your D major here, your E up here. You can do all of that up and down there. So that gives you 3 shapes, 4 derived. See, looks like I've been drinking and deriving, right? 3 shapes derived off of 4 strings. You have your E derived 1-3-3 configuration. You have your A derived 1-3-3. You have your D derived 1-3-4 configuration, and the G derived 1-4-4 configuration. And those are your shapes for your power chords. Really, really simple. You don't have to know, gee, was that a major chord or a minor chord or even a diminished chord? You can play it the same way. So you can play familiar tunes like something like that. Or something else like a. So let me start that again. Yeah, that's basically the same thing. There's so many songs you could play with the same exact chord progression. Just check out the Axis of Awesome 4-chord video, and they just hilariously show how like just dozens of well-known songs have the exact same chord configuration. And some of you really old types might remember this one. All you need to know are those shapes and what key your song is in. And if you remember, go over my lesson on how these notes relate to each other in terms of the interval between them and how they root each of these chords. So that, other than that, once you know the shapes, you can just go for it. Yeah. So E derived 1-3-3, A derived 1-3-3, D derived 1-3-4, G derived 1-4-4. I will include notes attached to the description that you can download that will have diagrams of these chord shapes. And be sure to leave questions, comments, and in the comment section. Where else would you leave them, right? And be sure to click like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get notifications whenever I'm going to post new material. All right, thanks for joining me.